Hi, welcome to my video on Polynomial 1, Introduction to Polynomial, and this is practice number 1B, the second video on the Polynomial 1. Again, it's extra practice. Here we go. Simplify each, and notice we're multiplying here. Negative 4 bracket 2x is negative 8x. And we're multiplying here, so we multiply the numerical coefficients. 2 times 5 is 10. And then we multiply the literal coefficients. We have an x. So when we multiply x cubed by x squared, we add. 3 plus 2 is 5. And we're again multiplying these binomials. So negative 3 times negative 6 is 18. We have an a here and an a here. We're multiplying, so we add. 2 plus 4 is 6. We have a b's. So this is a 1. This is a 1. So 1 plus 1 makes 2. And we have c's. And we have c's. Oh, c here. So 4 plus 5 is 9. Make that a 9. And we have a d. No d's. There's only one d, so that's why I didn't change. So 18. A to the 6, b squared, c9, d. Now we have 3 here, so we can multiply the first two and then multiply the third one, or we can multiply them all together at one time. So we multiply the first two, we get 14x cubed, and then we have negative 3 over 7x cubed. So we'll have a fraction, so 7 into 14 goes 2, so there's a negative 6. And because we're multiplying like terms with the basis, the exponent is 3 and 3, but the bases are same, so that's 3 plus 3. When we multiply, we add, we get 6. I could have multiplied all these without doing this one. I could have said negative times a negative times a negative is a negative. The 7s, I could have canceled the 7s, and I would have got 6, so a negative 6, and I got 1, 2 plus 3 is 6. Could have done that. Number 2, simplify each. We got the exponents. So when we square, we double the powers. So 4 squared, the square is on the 4, so 4 times 4 is 16. And when we square x cubed, we get x cubed times x cubed, which is x to the 6, so we're doubling the powers, y10. So y to the 5th squared is y to the 5 times y to the 5, so 5 plus 5 is 10. But the quicker way is just double the powers. And here we're cubing, so we're cubing the powers. So negative 2 cubed is negative 2 cubed. Negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 is negative. 2 times 2 is 4 times 2 is 8. And we're cubing, so we're multiplying. 2 times 3 is 6. 4 times 3 is 12. And 3 times 3 is 9. So any power, a power of a power, you multiply the exponents. Number 3, simplify each. We're dividing. So when we multiply like terms, we add the exponents. When we divide like terms, we subtract. So 10 divided by 2 is 5. And that's a 1. So we're dividing. So 3 subtract 1 is 2. And we have here, that's negative 2. When you cancel out the 9s. 4 subtract 1 is 3. So it's x cubed. 6 subtract 4 is y squared. And z cubed divided by z cubed, they cancel out, or we get z, we subtract, we get z to the 0, which is 1. So that's understood to be a 1 there. Simplify each. Now we have a monomial into a binomial. So we have this 2x has to divide into both of these. So if you go 8x cubed divided by 2x, subtract 6x divided by 2x. You can't divide 2x into 6x and not in, you have to divide 2x into both of these. So that gives us a 4x squared minus 3. 3 minus 1 is 2, and they cancel out. The x's cancel out to give me a 3 minus. Here we get negative 25y to the fourth divided by negative 5y squared plus 10y cubed divided by negative 5y squared. Notice the negative 5y squared is divided into both of these because there's two of them. It's like having 20 plus 10 divided by 10. You can't divide 10 into 10 and not into 20. So it's 20 divided by 10 is 2. 10 divided by 10 is 1, so that gives us a 3. If you look at it, 20 plus 10 is 30. So if you add the numerator, you get 30. 30 divided by 10 is 3. So the 10 has to be divided into both of these, not into this one only. And right here we have, oh, I didn't finish this one off here. So negative 25 divided by 5 is 5. 4 minus 2 is 2. Negative 2. 10 divided by negative 5, negative 2 y. And let's finish this one off. I'm going to write it. It's good to think about it this way. Now you can also not do this, right? You don't have to write it down like I'm doing, but I'm just making sure. So if you divide here, you get a negative 4. 3 minus 2 is 1. And 6 minus 3 is 3. And this is 20 divided by 4 is 5. X squared divided by x squared cancels out because 2 minus 2 is 0. X to the 0 is 1. And that gives us 4 minus 3 is 1. So there's your answer. Okay, let's continue. Again, I'm reviewing the whole unit that we have on polynomial ones. Check out the videos. This is a review. Find the parameters of monomial in terms of x. So we have a rectangular figure here, all right angles in the corner, but we don't have the length of this side. We don't have the length of this side. We have 9 here. So let's see. This is 9x. And this is 3x. Well, before I start, this is 3x. So that's equal. So that's a 3x. Okay, that's 1. Now, let's see. We got a 9x here. This is 5x from here to here. This is 4x. So that's an 8x right here. Sorry, 5 and x, 5x and 4x is 9x. Oh, I'm taking this length. Now, that's a 5x. Do it right. This is a 3x. So if I went from here to here, it'd be 8x. That means if this is 8x from here down to here, which is 5x and 3x, that means 9x and 8x subtract. That means that's an x. So if you left here and went right straight down, that's an x. That's a 5x. That's a 3x. Makes the same length as this. That's an x. This is the same. So this is an x. So what happens here is that we have, we don't have we're only looking for a parameter, so we don't need to get into what this length is. We know what this is. This is a square because it got all right angles here. So if you drew this segment right here, you get 3x. If you drew this segment here, you get an x, but we don't need that. We only need the parameter going around. Now we need this length of this side. So if we start here, we know this is 4x, and we know this is 3x. So if I went right straight across here, I would have 4x, that's a 7x. So if I went straight across right here, That's the same as this one. So if this is a 7x, this is a 7x. So x is here. So 7x minus x makes this a 6x. Hopefully you understand. So what's the parameter? The parameter is the sum of all these. So let's go 5x right here, 6x. Now there's x and x, so let's make that a 2x. There's 9x. That's 3x. That's a 3x. And that's a 4x. Bring us right back to the beginning. And if we add all them up, we get 11, 20, 22, 22, and that's a 10. So that looks like it's 32x all the way around. The reason I made up this diagram because you had to go down this side and you had to fill in the missing sides, or you had to come through here and fill in the missing sides. Number 9, a rectangle has an area of 40x squared. The length is 8x. Find the parameter in terms of x. So the area of a rectangle is length times width. The area is 40x squared. The width, we don't know the length, the width is 8x. So therefore, the length must be 40x squared divided by 8x. So the length must be 5x. Oh, did I say the length? Let's put a W here. Let's do it right. I got the length. It's the width that I'm finding. So 8x, let's just put a W here. So the width is 5x. So in a rectangle has 4 right angles. And the length is 8x and 8x. The width is 5x and 5x. So that means the parameter is twice the length plus twice the width. So the length is 8x. The width is 5x. The 16x, 10x. So the parameter is 26x. Sorry about that little mix up there. I put length, but then I put the 8x in place of the width. No. So if you scratch this out, you have 8x, and then you have the W, 8x, and then the W, and then, sorry about that. So the length is 8x, then you divide, and you'll get the width. Now we have find the volume as a monomial in terms of x and y. So the volume of, this is a box, a rectangular solid. So the volume is the length times the width times the height. Now, I'm not concerned, well, this should be, the length is 2xy, the width is 4x, and the height is 3y squared. Now, we don't know, so we don't know if I'm saying that's the length, that's the width, and we could have, we don't have to, we could have the length is 4x, the width is 2xy, and the height is 3y cubed. It makes no difference which one of these you call the length and the width, because we know if x is 3, if x is 3, that's a 12. If x is 3, then that's a 6. Depends on what y is, if it makes it the length or the width. But we do know that's the height. So either one of these will do in the order. Now if we multiply all 3 of these together, 2 times 4 times 3, 8 times 3 is 24. We got x we got an x, we got no x, so that's x squared. We got a y to the 1, y cubed, so that's y4. So that's the volume as a monomial, one term. And again, it makes no difference which one of these you call length and width. If you multiply these three or these three, you get the same answer here. Again, that's a review of polynomial 1. It's practice number 2. Oh, I still got more to do. You notice what I just did? I did page 4 before I did 3. I had them in the wrong order. Okay, so let's do, sorry about that. So let's divide these. So if we divide these, you have to divide the 3x into each one of these. I had the pages mixed up, but that makes no difference. That shouldn't hopefully it shouldn't upset you. Let's do page 3 or 4. Let's do the division of this monomial. So this is a trinomial divided by a monomial. So 3x has to go into 3. If it's a 3x divides into each of these. So here we go. That's a 5x squared. That's a 1. 2, so that's 2 minus 1, which is a 1. 12 divided by 3 is 4, so negative 4x. And 3x divided by 3x cancels, and I get a 1. And again, I'll write each of these down. So each one of these are divided by just takes a while to, again, you don't have to write if you know what you're doing, and you can save yourself time, but I'm only showing you what to do. So if you want to take this term and divide it by this one, go ahead. You don't have to write it down like this. So that gives us negative 6 divided by negative 2 is 3. 5 minus 2 is 3. 7 minus 3 is a 4. Positive divided by negative is a negative. 22 divided by 2 is 11. 3 subtract 2 is 1. 5 subtract 3 is 2. And a negative divided by negative is, they cancels to give us 1. The x cancels, x squared cancels. They cancel. And that gives us a positive 1. Y to the 4. 4 subtract 3 is 1. I put the 1 there or leave it alone. Just, if it's not there, it's understood to be a 1. Now we have some simplifying to do here, but we have to obey what we call BEDMAS, B-E-D-M-A-S, or PEMDAS, P-E-M-D-A-S. So that's parentheses or parentheses, inside the parentheses or brackets first. Then we do the exponents. Then we do multiplication, division, left to right. And then we do addition, subtraction, left to right. So we got, we can't simplify inside of here, so we got to deal with the exponents. So we do the exponents first. So 3 cubed is 27, and x squared cubed is, we multiply as x to the 6th. So I'm going to do one step at a time just to make sure. So I have, you can't do the inside of this bracket or this bracket, so I did the exponent first. Now I have to multiply next. So 4 times 2 is 8, and 1 plus 5 is 6. And they're the same, so I add them up, so they're x-like terms. So 8 plus 27 is 35. So notice, you do the inside the brackets first, which is already done. We do the exponent next, and then we got to multiply, and then we got to add. That's the order. Now, what do we do here? The inside the brackets are already simplified. We got to do the exponent first. So I'm going to do one step at a time. So negative 1 cubed is negative 1, and x cubed is x cubed. So that's simplified. Now I have to do my multiplication division left to right. So there's a division here, so that gives me 9 divided by 3 is 3. 4 minus 1 is 3. I got division, now I have to multiply, so it's a negative 8x squared. And I'm subtracting, so that's positive x cubed. And so that's 3x cubed plus x cubed minus 8x squared. 3 plus 1 is 4, x cubed minus 8x squared. Again, obey PEMDAS or BEDMAS. Now, I made up this one. So I have a numerator and a denominator. There's addition in the numerator, and this is a multiplication. So let's simplify the numerator first. So I got a 4y. I have inside the brackets. You can't do anything here or here. xy, negative 3x, they're already simplified. So I have the square first. So negative 3 squared is 9x squared. So I did the power first. So, obey it. There we go. Now, I'm doing the numerator. So I have to multiply here and multiply here. I multiply before I add. So that's 4 nines is 36 x squared y. And plus, multiply. 8 times 1 is 8, x squared y. Now I multiply the denominator, so it's a negative. 2 times 2 is 4. X times x is x squared y. And when we divide here, we divide negative 4x squared y. Now, these are the same, so I could, if I want, these are the same, add these up first. So that gives me 40, I add them first, 44 x squared y. So these two terms are the same, so I added them. Now I divide, and 44 divided by negative 4 is a negative 11. X squared cancels out, y's cancel out, so the answer is negative 11. So if you divided negative 4x x squared y into this one, you would get negative 9. If you divide it here, you get a negative 2. But if you get negative 9, negative 2 will give you negative, but it's always when you simplify. I noticed that I forgot when I looked at it. I said I was going to divide, but I looked carefully and I seen that these two could be added. So to add these first and then divide would be the proper way. Number 7. If x is 2 and y is 3, evaluate this expression. Well, first of all, we got to say x is 2, x is 2, y is 3. So let's do that. Minus x is 2, y is 3, and x is 2. So this is a multiplication here. So we have to do the inside of the bracket first. So inside the bracket we got a multiplication and a power. So we do 2 cubed is 8. So we have to, remember we're dealing with PEMDAS or BEDMAS. We do the inside of the bracket first. But inside of this bracket we have exponents, multiplication, subtraction, and exponent. We had to do the exponent first. So we got to do the exponent before we add or multiply. Now, inside of here, we did the exponent first. Now we got a multiplication subtraction. We multiply first. And now we subtract negative 2. So that's, we do the power next. Negative 2 squared, negative 2 times negative 2 is a 4. and that gives us an 8. So just, again, more simplifying in relation to the order of operations. And I apologize for doing page 3 last and not page 4, but I'm only concentrating on a review and without doing the video all over, just for a change of one page. Hopefully you'll understand. I'm just doing all this work just as a way of keeping myself active and going over the math that I've spent many years teaching. And again, if you like my video, click the like button, click the subscribe button, visit my math website, www.mathfullyexplained.com, to find more information about me, my videos, the content. That's the content on my YouTube channel called Math Fully Explained, just one word. Thank you for viewing my video. Hope the video helped you. Bye-bye.